What's going on, guys? Ready to talk about catch cans. It's quite a debated topic within a multitude of communities and tons of message boards, Facebook groups. People on Facebook have a lot of opinions regarding catch can systems. And I hope to give you guys some personal insight based on catch can systems that I've ran on multiple vehicles. And you know, this is catch cans from like way back when I had my 3-valve. Now we, out of all 3 vehicles that we own, 2 of them are direct injection. And if you, most of the time when people own direct injection vehicles, like BMW owners, EcoBoost owners, they have done their research. They understand why a catch can is needed. There's this group of people on Facebook in different walks of like message boards, and most of the time they're not very, like, how do I put it? You can definitely tell they don't have a lot of experience with them or quite understand the technology or the reasoning behind it, whether the excuse is their older vehicles require them, you know, because they're older and, you know, older technology and catch cans are great, but you know, these new motors that Ford puts out or BMW, they don't need catch can systems. They have oil separators that are built into the side of the block. And while that's true, the RS motor that's in the Ranger does have an oil separator inside the block. There's no catch can system to pull that oil out. So we're going to talk about a few things. One of those things, if you're watching this video, side note, if you're wanting more Moto headlights, I think something next week is going to happen. So keep an eye out on your social media channels. Well, let's go ahead and pop the hood of the Ranger and take a look at this catch can install. Start talking about some of the tech behind it. Let's pop the hood. First of all, let's get this out of the way. It is a gorgeous catch can system. Like I said in my original video, the finish is absolutely amazing. If you're watching this video and you didn't see that unboxing, yeah, I do mention it multiple times. The fit and finish of this system is absolutely fantastic. One of the big pluses of this system is it allows you to run an engine cover. If you recognize from my older videos, the JLT 3.0 engine cover that I ran, or the JLT 3.0 catch can that I ran, did not allow an engine cover. So I'm gonna put an engine cover back. I do like the sound baffling of the engine cover. It does help kind of keep things a little quieter, especially in the winter months with the direct injection. Quiets things down a little bit. It also keeps it waterproof. It resists water, so when you're cleaning the engine bay, water doesn't get down into the spark plug holes. Anyways, getting sidetracked here. So let me go ahead and take this off so you can kind of get an idea of how this mounts under everything, and I'm going to show you guys exactly kind of what's involved with the install process. So remove that piece. Now you can get a little clearer picture of how this catch can system is mounted. It has a really nice powder coated bracket, mounts the dual can system, and I mean, as you can tell, there's really no wiggle or any type of weird fitment problem with this. The right can connects to where the JLT would typically connect to. The left can connects to the passenger side. It will catch a lot more than a standard single can setup. So like I said in my previous video, that's one of the big reasons why it is $500. You're running 2 cans instead of a single smaller can system. So that does factor into the cost. So if you bought 2 JLTs at like $160 a pop, you're close to like 320 bucks. These are larger canisters. It does have a different technology as far as how it catches the oil on the blow-by. But before we get into the tech behind this, let's go ahead and talk about, I want to answer some questions that I got. And, you know, one of the biggest questions that I got was, you know, are catch cans really something that I need? And it really boils down to a few questions that you need to ask yourself. One of the questions you need to ask yourself is, how long do you plan on keeping the car or the truck or whatever it is that you're considering putting a catch can system on? How long do you plan on keeping it? And, you know, is peak performance, you know, one of those things where you don't want to run into issues where you're having to replace intake valves or doing like direct injection service every few, you know, set intervals of miles, which even doing the service isn't a guarantee of cleaning everything out off your valves. You know, cleaning the oil that can get sprayed through vapors inside your intercooler. And yes, I'm going to talk about that in a second, because we just did an intercooler install on the Fiesta ST. We just installed the Mountune intercooler on the Fiesta ST, and I noticed some things on the stock intercooler that we're going to talk about, because this is not running a catch can. I've only had it for about, I would say, the past 3,000 miles, and I bought it with 33,000 miles, and it never had a catch can on it. So I did notice a few things, because we've had a catch can on the Ranger pretty much since we've owned it. It was like the second mod I did to this truck, because I realized it was direct injection. So the Focus RS, this Focus RS motor, it has a oil separation system on the side of the block. However, there's no catch can system, and, you know, people argue, well, if Ford wanted a catch can system, they would have put a catch can system on it. Well, there's a lot of things that Ford should have done, Chevy should have done, BMW should do, but to cut costs and things, you know, you kind of have to rely on aftermarket to do that. So that argument is kind of dumb. Just saying that, well, if it needed it, Ford would have put it there. I think that's a really, really ignorant way to think about modifying any sort of vehicle. I mean, we have quite a bit of experience modding, you know, Coyote motors. So there's the Whipple car. I had a Whipple Mustang. I went through 3 superchargers. I'm used to blow by. My 2005 Mustang GT had a Paxton supercharger on it. No oil separation system. So I have some experience when it comes to blow by, seeing it firsthand, the effects of blow by when it's not taken care of. So when someone says, if Ford intended it to be there, they would have put one there, I kind of just check out completely. So if you're watching this video, you're probably not a part of that crew, which is good. It means you're intelligent, and you kind of know, you know better than that. So let's kind of move past that. But if you are new to the channel and you're kind of found my video and you want to talk about catch cans, you know, on why and if you should need it, so let me explain to you guys what a catch can system is. Basically, it just prevents oil, other contaminants, fuel, like, you know, water vapor. It causes buildup inside of your engine's intake manifold, intake valves, your intercooler, you know, just anywhere there's sort of where it should be some clean airflow. Outside of the intake box, most of the time the intake side is pretty clean. It's the other side that usually gets a little bit of, gets more blow by. And if you're not sure what blow by is, so a typical catch can, it plugs into a hose ring from the top of your crankcase to the intake manifold. When the pressure escapes from the combustion chamber, it seeps past the piston rings, and that's what that type of vapor, it passes through. You know, the problem is, though, the pressure relief hose allows oil and other nasty crap from the crankcase to get into the intake manifold, which it doesn't belong there. So when you leave those types of contaminants unchecked, over time, it hurts fuel economy, it hurts horsepower, it even could cause misfires into the future. So with direct injection motors, you need a catch can. And basically, if port injected engines, the fuel that's sprayed into the intake, it works as a cleaner, basically washing off any type of oil buildup that might occur in that. But since direct injection engines shoot fuel directly into the cylinder, there's nothing preventing that that stuff that's getting by from building up. So the catch can acts as a filter. The only downside is, you know, it's expensive, and yeah, you can buy cheaper ones, but the catch can system from Mountune is really designed well, and it has a different type of way it catches the oil. So typical oil catch can systems, like this one, like the one I'm showing you, it runs off a baffle, and it basically relies on the reliance of baffling wool or type of like passive technology to catch that vapor and separate it out. The biggest difference is with Mountune, they use Rocket OSS, Rocket oil separation systems. I'm going to share a link to that in the description below. They use like a filter, and basically inside the catch can is a filter. I'm going to show you a picture of that here. And this filter not only separates the oil that's passing through on the can, but it's also filtering it out. So think about it this way: would you want passive filtering on your oil on your motor, or would you want an actual oil filter for it to pass through? So it's going to catch more. It's going to get more particulates out. I believe the official amount was like 70 microns. So, and also the filter's cleanable. You know, a lot of people are like, well, if I spend 500 bucks on a catch can, do I have to buy, you know, new filters every oil change? Well, technically no. You can clean them out with brake cleaner. You can service your own catch can, and then I would say every 15,000 miles, every few oil changes, I would replace the filter. So yeah, and Mountune provides that as well. So if you're more interested in the way the Rocket oil separation system works, I'm going to leave a link in the description below, so you guys can access that and check that out. You know, over time, catch can systems are one of those things where over time, well, you're not going to instantly notice any sort of like power gain from a catch can system. It's not like a tune where you install a tune, you go take it out and rip into it, and all of a sudden, damn, it feels amazing. You're not going to feel $500 in the seat of the truck from this mod. But what you will notice over time, your motor's going to thank you, your intercooler is going to thank you, a lot of your components in your motor are going to thank you for keeping it cleaner, keeping that air cleaner that's moving through. It just over time, it's just going to kind of pay for itself. You're not going to have to get those valve cleaning sessions. You're not going to have to replace intake valves, you know, long into the future. You're just going to run into less problems. And you know, one of the biggest things about any type of motor, whether it's a Ranger or a Fiesta or a Mustang, not every motor is the same. Certain motors have more blow-by. You know, it's like not every single tune is going to work the same on every single motor. That's why certain cars are factory freaks. They're faster in the quarter mile than the other one with the same modifications. It happens. There's different tolerances from the factory when they're built. So you might have a 2.3 that's going to have more blow-by than the other guy's 2.3. So it's kind of one of those things where, you know, yeah, it's a little flip of a coin if you really need one. Some people might have really clean running systems, some don't, and that kind of goes back into the Fiesta. So when I installed the Mountune intercooler in the Fiesta, we pulled out the stock intercooler and I ran my finger inside the inlet and outlet, and there was just like a layer of oil. Basically all the hoses, the intake, the boost pipes, coming into the turbo and out, the cold side and hot side, it just had this like layer of oil just inside of it. So that oil, that vapor, that's like that super sticky stuff is getting sent back into the motor through the throttle body. It's going to get sent over the intake valves, and over time, probably at like 100,000 miles or even less, it's just going to start, you know, building up. Think about it this way, you know, take a look at a grill. Okay, you don't clean your grill over time, you notice that carbon buildup. It's just, you know, if you're not, you know, taking a steel brush to it and cleaning it, you just notice that nasty carbon buildup on the grates. It's the same similar concept. If you don't use a catch can system on your direct injection motor, over time your intake valves are going to start looking like that grill, and your performance is going to suffer. You could get misfires. There's just a lot of things that could happen if you don't take care of your stuff. And that, you know, if you want to get a $160 JLT one, it's going to be better than nothing. If you want to invest in a $500 Mountune catch can system, that's even better. It's just, this isn't a, you know, a video about, well, you know, you should get the Mountune over the JLT because, you know, whatever reason, right? Get a catch can system on your car. The only thing I would recommend against is a cheap catch can system. You've seen them. They're on eBay, they're on Wish, they're on Amazon. They're just generic catch cans that really don't do much. And you can watch tons and tons of videos on YouTube about catch cans. So that's not this video. If you want to start researching catch can systems, there's tons of videos out there supporting this, supporting the idea of catch cans, especially on direct injection motors that you can watch. So with that being said, the install is fairly similar to other catch can systems. You know, this is not an install video, and while I did record quite a bit at Trevor's shop, the audio didn't come out super well, but we didn't really do an install video on it. I'm gonna leave a link in the description on how to install like the other catch cans. There's other videos out there. Basically just following that is the same. Now the cool thing is with Mountunes, so the thing about the Mountune versus the JLT catch can system didn't replace, there was a little part that kind of steps down on the side. Let me see if I can grab it. So this little piece right here, I think was used on the lower portion of the block area, and this is where the stock JLT or the JLT catch can plugged into. Well, Mountune replaces this smaller hose with their own, with this line. I mean, it's much thicker, so there's no step down. So I mean, there might be a benefit to it, there might not be, but the Mountune system is more complete in that aspect. Now let's get into some of the things that I wasn't a huge fan of on the Mountune install. I can't really review a product if I don't give you some cons to the product. The price is pretty high. That's a con for some people, but if you are paying that much money, you know, I want to be completely transparent with you on some of the cons. One con is this right here. So the way Mountune provides you the install, the way Mountune has you install this is basically they have you feed a bolt underneath here, and then you kind of have to hold on to it somehow. I mean, there's really not much room to run your hand underneath with like a socket wrench or anything. You kind of have to almost take the headlight out. Now in the instructions, it didn't really give you many options on how to install the bolt screw here, so this is what Trevor came up with. And I think if you get a Mountune system, I think this would be an excellent way to do this for a couple reasons. So on our Prinsu rack of the Ranger, they use riv nuts. And if you aren't sure how riv nuts work, basically it fits in through the hole and then it kind of pinches against the metal, and it gives you a spot to thread in a bolt. Okay, so it's a one-time thing, meaning I can back these bolts out, remove them, the piece that's in there that holds the bolt in is not going to drop through, so I don't have to get a socket in there to hold it and reinstall it. So basically I can remove these two bolts and then pull that out, and I can actually disconnect the whole catch can system. Now you might ask, well, why do I need to do that if I can just remove the catch cans from the mounting pin? Well, so this can won't be too hard. I can just release the pin and then kind of reach under there and kind of just drop it completely. That's not going to be a problem. This one's going to be a little bit harder because there's not much room. I guess I could reach the pin from here and then reach in there, but it's very close to that intercooler piping on this side, so there's not much room to drop the can from this side from this location. But since we did this so easily, we can just pop these bolts out. I can lift out this whole can system and then just pull the cans out and drain them myself within like a few seconds. That's an install thing that I'm gonna send back to Mountune. I'm gonna be like, yo, just give the option to use 2 riv nuts here, put the bolts in so that people can just undo these 2 bolts really quick, pull out the whole catch can system, empty it, and then bam, you're done. So that was one complaint. The other complaint from Trevor was basically Mountune provides instructions to install like these fittings that go into the hose to connect to the stock PCV system. It would have been cool for the amount of money that you do spend on this to have them pre-cut and pre-installed. Their measurements were spot on. The measurements that they provided in the instructions were spot on. It just was kind of an extra step that, like, well, if you're spending $500 on it, you know, couldn't they have just cut the hoses? Because Trevor uses a special tool to cut the hoses. It makes it super easy. But for me, if I was doing this install by myself, I would have had to like use a blade to try to cut this really nice line. It just probably wouldn't have looked really good, but he had a special tool to do it. It would have been cool for Mountune just to have these pre-done up, so that, you know, you don't have to do any of the cutting on these hoses. It's a minor complaint, but I could see some people, if they don't have the tools to do it, it could be kind of a pain, and they could end up with lines that have some minor cracks in them, or they weren't cut properly. It's just kind of a safeguard for Mountune and the people that are installing. So that's really kind of the only complaint I have. I think the location of this is absolutely excellent. Some catch cans mount it towards the back, and I'm like, well, I mean, there's really not much room to reach back there. Like, you'd have to get like a step stool to empty the catch cans. I like how it's up front here and ready to go. The lines are really good quality. The connections are good. It came with like all the right hardware. I mean, it's just good quality stuff. Outside of that, I don't want this video to be an hour long, but I hope that answers some questions to you guys that are looking for a catch can system, especially for the Ranger. APG Off-Road sells them, Mountune sells them. I think those are the 2 that you can purchase these from. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was I'm super glad that we have Mountune. We have a Mountune intercooler on here. I have a Mountune short shift kit. You can tell I'm a Mountune fan. We've been running Mountune stuff for a while, and I am still beyond impressed by the quality. Now we have more Mountune stuff on the Ranger, and we have a Mountune intercooler behind here. One back with the stock grill for a little bit. 2 vehicles with Mountune intercoolers. Hoping they come out with a Mountune catch can. Right now it's radium, but yeah, we're about 20 minutes into this video. I don't want to waste any more time for you guys, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. I'm gonna leave a few videos in the comments in the description below that can get you started on your video watching of catch can systems, and if you want one, I'll leave a link in the description to where you can buy one too. I don't have any discount codes, unfortunately, for it, but yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.